Hey everybody, what's happening? Son of a Silver Stacker here. In today's numismatic news and information for the 27th day of December 2022, I'd like to welcome you over to JM Bullion so we can check out those live spot prices. And you're probably wondering what's up with that. Well, I'll tell you in a second. Now, over here, I'm going to welcome you over to Good Morning to You with Tiny Numismatics. That's number 308, and that starts this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and 6:30 a.m. on the Pacific. And look at that. There's Santa getting a little bit of sun after you know what. Now, next thing I want to do is give a huge shout out and a big thank you to all of our channel members. I'll tell you, it'd be a lot more difficult and challenging without your support. Really appreciate it. Now, let's pop over here to JM Bullion. And if you're familiar with the channel, you know I used to do JM Bullion before, but this morning, well, APMEX site was not loading whatsoever. Now, check this out. Gold is up $6.18 to $18.15.58. Silver's up 31 cents to $24.40. Platinum up $2.39 to $10.44.57. And palladium up $17.91 to $18.22.41. Now check this out, folks. I think we got a bit of a reprieve in the premiums. Check this out. So we see silver at $24.39, and we see, well, the credit card PayPal price for the American Silver Eagle, quantity 1 through 19 at $40.93. And let's check that out. So we got $40.93, $24.41. That's about close enough for good enough for, you know what? $16.53 of a premium. That's not that bad considering we had seen premiums about $20 so far. So that's really actually kind of nice. And it begs the question, is the United States Mint giving more quantity of the American Silver Eagles to the bullion dealers for 2023? And well, I would think that suggests yes, but we don't know until we actually get to the point where we are at 1/10/2023. We'll find out then here in about 2 weeks. So that'll be really interesting to find out what happens next. Okay, here we go. Numismatic news. And this is by Mark Benvenuto, and its title is Morgan and Peace Dollars, Old and New. And this is from about 17 hours ago. And if I do stop talking and reading just at the drop of a hat, well, I'm sorry, I'll see something I just have to mention. So here we go. In the year 2021, the United States Mint got just about every collector to sit up and take notice when they unveiled the 2021 Morgan and Peace Dollars as centennial versions of the two classic series. Centennial anniversary versions, absolutely. The ever-present interest in the Morgan and Peace Dollars went up further notch and stayed there as the new versions were unveiled. Now it says here, to the chagrin of many in the collector community, the very next year the official word was that silver from the suppliers to the mint had been disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and there would be no Morgan or Peace Dollars dated 2022. And I don't know if it's a chagrin, because chagrin is like embarrassed, and well, I don't know. So I don't think I wasn't embarrassed. I was bummed out, really. So here we go. That announcement got many of us thinking that the 2021s were going to be the one-hit wonder or the proverbial flash in the pan. And thus the dust settled a bit, but right now, the Mint is planning to release a set of 2023 Morgan and Peace Dollars, probably with the same wealth of mint marks or privy marks as before. I don't know about that. We'll find out because I got them loaded up on the screens in the next couple tabs. Now, and this means we might be at the beginning of a new series. That's absolutely true, because we know going forward they have authorized this unlimited series, at least until 2030s, I think. Now, it says here whether this will grow over time to something as established and respected as the Silver Eagles is still a mystery, but the time may indeed be ripe to look at collecting the classic Morgan and Peace Dollars, or if we have already done so, at examining just what might still qualify as a good deal. And right now, folks, I believe because of the 2021 Morgans, that Morgan and Peace Dollars from the past 1921 and previous years, well, they're just ridiculously expensive. You could get the Morgan and Peace Dollars for like $20, $25, $30 just a few short years ago in the raw, just sitting around in coin stores, right? And honestly, you may still find some of those from the coin dealers that didn't get the message. Now, it's because that's kind of how the hobby is sometimes. People don't get the message for a few years later. It says here, starting in 1921, since the new silver dollars of 2021 mark a centennial for the two classic series, perhaps the easiest way to look at both series at the same time is to start with that linking date, 1921. This is a standalone year for the Morgan dollar because the design had not been minted since 1904. Absolutely. The three mints that pounded out Morgan dollars or pressed or struck Morgan dollars that year did so in amazingly high numbers, the highest ever seen for silver dollars in Mint's history. Those from Philly were in the tens of millions, above anything that had come before. Today, each of them from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco are pretty inexpensive if we stay away from the higher Mint state grades. That's right, absolutely. They're reasonable, probably under $100, I would think, probably about $75, $80. Now, on the side of the peace dollar, plenty of collectors are aware that the 1921 is one of the key dates. That's absolutely right. I think they struck that for about 2 to 3 weeks in December, and that was it. It says here, key dates of the series, even though over 1 million were produced. The high relief feature for this year and for a few, those dated in 1922, has always been something of a draw, with aficionados going over the hairlines and other design elements in gory detail. Yikes. If the price for one of these is too rich for our blood, then why not start any new collection with a good-looking 1922? Once again, this coin came from 3 mints, and once again, the production in Philadelphia was record-setting in the higher circulated grades and even the lower mint-state ones. They're also not too expensive, absolutely, and that's a good way to put it too. That I'm glad he didn't say cheap. So he's a good writer, using the good words. I really appreciate that. Now it says here, going backward, going forward. When it comes to forming a larger collection of either Morgan or peace dollars, or of both, it becomes a matter of going backwards for the Morgans. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you're a coin collector, it's always about going backwards. And, if you're going forwards, well, that's usually a relationship with a mint. All right. Now it says here, and forward for the piece. Since the annual production at the Philadelphia Mint usually far outstripped that of any other branch mints, it seems logical to think that some date run of the Morgan dollars would be the way to go. All of them from the city of brotherly love. But there are a few hiccups along the way here. Some of the later dates, like the 1893 or the 1894, are actually rather expensive. You know it. You know it, man. And some of the S-mark pieces from San Francisco are much more affordable than we might think. It's worth checking any price list in the back of the issue of Coins or of Numismatic News carefully when deciding what to buy. In fact, I think some of the prices for the older Morgans are coming down, and you might be able to negotiate a better price if you just ask. So it doesn't hurt to ask. Don't be shy. Now, when it comes to the Peace Dollar series, many collectors are aware that the key dates are 1921, as well as the 22 high relief and the 1928, all of them issues from Philadelphia. But the most common dates in the series are also from the main mint, Philadelphia, and certainly qualify as a good place to start any collection. The 1922, as well as the 1923, the 24, and the 25 are all pieces with very high mintages and correspondingly low prices today. Absolutely, I think that's really good advice if you're going to be starting this collection. But remember, these are very expensive right now due to the 2021 Morgan and Peace dollars, as well as the upcoming release of the Morgan and Peace dollars for 2023. Right, so the hype is building. Okay, folks, and it's still kind of resonating from 2021. But as soon as we hit 2023, I think it's going to peak again. Now, let's say this here. Beyond this, even though almost the entire series saw healthy mintages from each facility each year, the prices tend to rise. Picking just one example, the 1935 San Francisco minted saw just over 1.9 million pieces produced, a number that ought to qualify as common for collectors today, but in the mint state 60, it still costs much more than common dates we just mentioned. And there it is. Bam, 1921 high relief. Beautiful. And you can tell by the hair there. Now, let's go to the mint marks. We mentioned a few mint marks pieces already, but it's worth looking at them in a bit more detail. The $21 came out with a series of mint mark and privy marks. The privy marks were Carson City and New Orleans mints, but that was just a privy mark and not a mint mark, right? So there we go. And we can assume that the same will occur this year. I don't know about that. But our two classic series have what might be called a pecking order when it comes to mint marks. Okay, let's find out what they mean by that. For the years in which the branch mint in Carson City put up Morgan dollars, that CC mark virtually guarantees we'll have to pay big bucks for just about any example. Absolutely. That's the big dog right there, that CC and the O. Now it says here the S out of the City by the Bay is next on any list and pecking order, with many of them being expensive, but a careful look through the standard price guides will reveal the San Francisco marked Morgan dollars, which are common enough that their prices are reasonable for any collector today. That same holds true for the S mark on the Peace dollars. Now, it says here, several of the Morgan dollars were also issued from the branch mint facility in the Big Easy, New Orleans, that is. Interestingly, these do not really carry an automatic premium, and I think that's underrated. That's absolutely right. The O is generally only expensive when the mintage is total low. As we might expect, right alongside with the New Orleans coins, any dollars with the D of Denver tend to have prices that are reasonable, meaning there's no real premium attached to them simply because they came from Mile High City. Now, there is only one of these in the entire Morgan series, but the Peace Dollar series adds a few dates to the total. And that's, I think, why that Denver Morgan dollar from 2021 was special to begin with. And then it was not grading in super high grades. And that also made it very desirable as well. Now, it says here to slab or not to slab. And that's really what we are talking about when we're talking about that Denver Morgan, right? Now it says, for those of us who do a significant part of our buying at coin shows, it is fair to say it is almost impossible to attend a decent sized one and not see Morgan and Peace dollars for sale that have been slabbed. Sometimes it seems that these two series plus Walking Liberty and Franklin half dollars make up the lion's share of certified U.S. silver coins, and thus it's fair to ask whether any collection of these silver dollars that we choose to build should be slabbed or not. That's up to you. Some people buy the slab, some people buy the coin. I would think that you want to buy the coin, not the slab, but like I said, there's the inverse on that as well. The easy answer is always, it's up to each one of us. The more detailed answer looks at just what we are trying to do. If we simply want good-looking coins, and it doesn't matter what grade they happen to be in, well, raw coins. Those that have not been slabbed, and probably the smartest, least expensive way to go. If we are keen on each coin being a specific grade or mint state, then slabs are most likely way to go. And also, I would think you want to slab your coins if you're giving it away. If you're just, if you're not planning on selling it and you're going to give it to somebody, I would probably slab them. Now, it says here, while we are on the subject, not long after the 2023 Morgan and Peace dollars are made available, it is a sure bet that these will show up in some third-party grading services holder. Now, obviously, yes, absolutely. It's almost a sure bet that someone will claim that in grades MS69 or MS70, these are rare coins with some premium. The reality check is that they are probably going to be common in those grades. After all, the United States Mint is one of the best in the world when it comes to producing gorgeous, flawless coins, bar none. And I know a lot of you are probably like, yeah, right. But I really do believe in the Mint. Now, it says here, the surprise would actually be to find one of those modern silver dollars in a grade that is not at the top tier as far as the grade goes. And I think that there are grades on that Denver Morgan that are probably in the 64s. And there's probably maybe one or two of those in all of existence. Isn't that interesting? So there you go. Now it says here, where to stop, finding a price point. And that's the end of the article. Now, as with any series, each of us will have to decide just how much to spend on any piece we add to our collection. Some of us will wait on the 2023 Morgan and Peace dollars, hoping that their price will drop after the initial offering from the Mint. And I think that's a pretty, that's a big gamble. Now, we do know that the price did drop on the Morgan dollars that just released in 2021, but not by much. It says there others will opt to buy right away. And when it comes to the two classic series, all of us will most likely shop around to see what deals are still available. Now, here's to the new and old and to some good silver dollar collecting in 2023. Isn't that cool? Now, let's go to the United States Mint's webpage, and we're going to go here to the Morgan and Silver dollars under the subscriptions, and all of them are still available, folks. And I had a theory I wanted to share with you here this morning, and it's about all of the Morgan and Peace dollars, but I'm going to use this one in particular, the Morgan and Peace dollar 2023 two-coin reverse proof set description, as my example. All right. So here we go. Mintage limit of 250,000, product limit none, household order limit 3. All right. And let's see, we'll go to the view page sources, and there's 55,797 of these still available. So here's what I think the United States Mint has done, and I hope I can say this in a way that's clear, concise, and to the point. Well, I think the remaining numbers here that we're seeing are just the total left. I think what the Mint has done is just given everybody a 1 for each one of their subscriptions, even if there were 3 or 2. I think they just place it at 1, and these are the remaining, the residual after that. And if these all get spoken for, then everybody's just going to get 1. However, if these are not spoken for, everybody's going to get 2 or 3 on their subscriptions. So there it is. That's my theory. Hope you're digging it. Now let's go to those plus ones today. Bam! Question, what did Adam say to Eve on December 31st? Well, it's about punctuation, and there it is. It's New Year's. Eve? Yeah. Now let's go to the next one. Bam! This is Psalm 25, 4 through 5. It says here, show me your ways, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. For you are God, my Savior, and my hope is in you all day long. And that's Psalm 25, 4 and 5. Dig it. Now let's pop over here to 95.5 KOI. No, wait. 99.9 KOI Coin News Radio. 39's fine. That's right. This is, well, it's a music video. Obviously, you know that. I do that every day. This is Tears for Fears. All right. This song is called Watch Me Bleed. It's off their first album, The Hurting, and it has got subtitles in Spanish and English. Whew, I made it. Can you dig it? I hope so. So there it is, folks. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you do like what you're in, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Son of a silver stacker. Ooh.